everybody. It's Monique from Save Ferris, and you're listening to Verbal Shenanigans.
All right, Mike, now can you do a bumper for the beginning of the episode? Say, hey, this is the Sausage King. You're listening to
Hey, everyone, you know me, Abe Froman, coming to you, Sausage King, represent Chicago, and I got my main girl, Monique, of Save Ferris here on Verbal Shenanigans. I'm going to get into the concert, I'm going to bring plenty of sausages, and everybody's going to be happy.
Happy. Sausage.
Oh, God, please let the police beat you to death.
But our shenanigans are cheeky and fun.
Yeah, I mean, his shenanigans are cruel and tragic. Which makes them not shenanigans at all, really.
Evil shenanigans.
I swear to God, I'll pistol whip the next guy that says shenanigans.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Verbal Shenanigans podcast. Glad to be back. It is me, Scott, for those of you who are just tuning in. Welcome. And I am here with his former lordship, former lord of the podcast realm, a one-week run, my friend, Mr. Mike Burlow. Mike, how are you doing?
I am doing fine. I have a prepared statement that I will read off in a little while, but I've heard the news, and I have opinions about it. But continue on with.
We have to give some background here. What the hell we're talking about? A couple weeks ago, we had Lord Buckethead on the podcast. Who is that? Well, Lord Buckethead is a satirist, someone who's he's ran in UK elections 4 times. He's dressed as kind of like a Darth Vader-esque character. He was on John Oliver. We had the last guy possibly ever play Buckethead, unless me and Mike acquire the suit, which we need to talk about after the podcast. And I gave Mike a little silly game, which is something we do here very often, dumb games. In fact, I would argue last week, in terms of dumb games, I think I set the bar pretty high or low, whichever scale you're going on, in an epic battle of is it blind or is it melon, where Mike had to decide if the scientific names of something were either the name of a melon or the name of a degenerative eye disease. And I was laughing more editing the show and putting it together. Like, I can't believe this actually quote unquote worked, and that I actually did this on the air. But it provided quite the laugh for me, Mike.
I was quite surprised we didn't get a bunch of, I would have scored like 9 out of 10 or something like that. I knew that was an eye disease. I don't know what's wrong with Burlew right there. So, but as weird of the game it was still crushing how bad I did in it. And it was one of those weird things. I go to bed and I'm like grumbling, and wife's like, "What's the matter?" No, I don't know between a melon and blindness. Damn it.
Yeah. Explain that one. Like that one, you spend more time explaining what the hell the game was than actually like anything that happened in the game.
Yeah, the actual enjoyment is less than the required description of said activity, if you will.
Yeah. And it was nice. If you go back and recap, Mike completely bombed in the game. He was like 0 for 4 coming out of the gate or something, and he had to score above 5. But anyway, that was last week's episode with Christopher Thorne of Blind Melon, who fantastic episode, one of my favorites of the year.
Absolutely.
One of my favorites in the catalog. But anyway, back to the Lord Buckethead thing. I gave Mike a little game that he could become Lord of the podcast realm, where he had to like kind of compete. And I ranked his answers. Now, I ranked he had to score above a 30, and I think he had like a 31.5 after my scores. There was 10 questions worth 5 points each, something like that. Just silly questions. He basically had to think on his feet, come up with like pitches for things and debates and things like a political candidate would. So I also said during that episode, I'm going to score you, but I'm also going to let our listeners decide. And we have our 2 friends, Harry and Dom, who have now become kind of part of the bigger episodes, if you will. They kind of, when we need a guy, like someone to pull someone else in, where it's not just me and you, we've been polling them. And I said, you have to score at home. Okay. Now, Mike, both of these loyal listeners, every week listeners, had you under the bar, slightly under the bar as far as getting to that 30 and a half points that you needed, meaning, according to the game's rules, 2 out of 3 people voted that you are not Lord of the Podcast Realm.
Yeah, if I recall, Dom put me right at 30, and then Harry put me at 28 and tried to bargain a deal as if I was going to send him something and magically my points would go up.
Yes, Harry's first listen, he said he scored you a 26. And commitment-wise, Harry, unbelievable commitment. When he went back to a revisit of the game, he had you at a 28. This is the same man who during the Christmas episode, I had sent questions prior where I said something about Santa Claus, and I put an E at the end of it by mistake. And he went into a deep dive and watched the entire Santa Claus series with Tim Allen and took like detailed notes. So this is a committed listener.
Yes, committed, but if you listen to what he said, he is a faulty judge. The fact that he ranked me so low before and magically my point value went up clearly tells me he wasn't a proper, really vented out kind of judge for this competition. And I feel there was faulty answers from both sides. Magically, I don't get even a 0.1 to put me over the top with Dom, and Harry is giving me less and less points, but as he re-listens, oh, it's so much better, more and more. I don't.
So what you're saying is with another re-listen, if Harry did a possible third dive, there is some leeway for you to once again possibly gain the title of Lord of the Podcast.
I question his judgment. If he probably had it in the background, he was probably like doing spreadsheets or something like that, and he's like, yeah, whatever, 26.
Right.
And then he maybe listened in the car, but still dealing with traffic and give it a 20. If he had a straight sit down and listen, he would have gave me the proper scoring, but he's not a proper judge.
Here's what we're going to do, because it does sound like you are pretty sour about this. We're gonna invite Harry to do a third listen. Remember, if you do score above the 30, that is 2 out of 3 people who did it. But I'm also going to encourage any listeners that are possibly tuning in today for the first time, or maybe listeners that listen and don't really communicate with us too much. I want you to go back, episode 514, Lord Buckethead. You don't even have to listen to the whole episode. You could skim through the interview. You shouldn't, because it's kind of hysterical. But after the interview, right around probably like the hour mark where we start the game, score it on your own, email us, or send us a message. Tell us what you think.
But you know what, Scott, you're very generous there, but you know what, I'll hold back on it. Harry does not have to listen a third time. A bunch of other you should listen to it a first time, but he doesn't have to do it a third. Like I said, I have a prepared statement.
Wow. This is like when like a coach is in a scandal, or like the other day, Shador Sanders, what's his name's son, was pranking them and telling him he got drafted. He had to come out and make a statement. Anything that goes bad in the media, people have to make a statement. This is you making a statement to the Verbal Shenanigans audience.
Yes. See, a true lord does not require a vote. A born lord does not need to wait and see what others think. And an angry lord does not hesitate to inform the minions of the faults of their decision-making. I already had the vote of the game master. I have been acknowledged as a lord by the groovy one, Joan. And in a 2-2 tie, the tie goes to the omnipotence of your masterful being, that is me. But with that said, I am a caring lord who plays by the rules of a lower society and bequeath my title for the sake of starting a war that I would end in milliseconds. So to my judges, I give you an olive branch of congratulations. Your ignorance is being rewarded with me ending using my earned title. But that leaves me time to craft my new next power of being. A power that will make you fear, that will rival any one of your nightmares. I bestow to you a few evenings of blissful sleep. For you see, in October, you will need to be well rested. For you will be running and hiding to only delay the inevitable last grasp of your pathetic life. You may rest on your morals that Lord Burlew ends tonight, but be grateful for every last infinitesimal second you have remaining before Count Burlus Ferratu devours you in a mere 4 months' time.
Wow. Did we just see some foreshadowing to the Halloween episode of Burlus Ferratu? Challenge shots fired to the audience. I was also thinking about how many times you had to prepare the word omnipotence, like to pronounce it correctly. Was it
4?
couple mirror sessions?
I mean, yeah, there was a couple run throughs there, and I was getting my Lord character, and then I would get to that word and go, let's go again.
Wow. So
back on 2.
Listeners, you heard it here first. We've been teasing it for a while. Our Halloween episode is usually a big one here on the yearly checklist. It's one of our special ones. The game will be involving Burlus Ferratu hunting down 2 listeners. Now, will it be the end of the 2 listeners, or will Burlus Ferratu reign supreme? I don't know. Will he be defeated? I'm not sure.
Maybe I should have got that half a point, but it's too late now.
Wow. So you guys heard it here first. A lot to look forward to. Okay. Burlus, speaking of religion and spirituality and kind of things like that, I celebrated my daughter's 1 year old first
1 year
birthday.
oldness anniversary.
I could feel the tiredness tonight, and like it's definitely getting hot here. Like it's like 90 almost. I'm definitely like feeling like I'm talking like out of my body at the moment.
You got the vapors, my friend?
Yeah, I got a little bit. The little Burlus Ferratu thing is seeping through the Zoom screen right now.
I warned you. No, I mean, now you're not going to be a target, so you don't have to worry in October.
You don't know that. You don't know that. The game has not been completely created. Okay. But I had my daughter's first birthday, and we also did my daughter's baptism. Okay. Now, we did the same thing with my son. We did them on the same day. One, to avoid having 2 parties and 2 things, big events and whatnot. And 2, I'm not the most religious person in the world, nor is my wife. Okay. This is like the equivalent of, I don't know, Italians who aren't that religious and them doing the fishes every Christmas Eve, the people celebrating holidays that they're not really that into, but they just do it because it's like ingrained in the family and it's tradition and whatnot. So it's like, I don't know. I know what would make my mom happy. So I was like, I'll get my daughter baptized.
It's one of those, okay, we're done. Do we get a certificate to give to God now? Do we got to get buried with this? Do I keep it in my pocket, my social security card? Yeah. I just need to know the rules before my kids live out their lives.
So I'm going into this as a total phony. It's like, luckily the church or whatever didn't really require anything. They were like, oh, just show up at this time and we'll be all set for you. And the last one we had.
God has really big standards, doesn't he? And we want our kids to go to heaven. All right, show up. I don't know. We'll have a pool. We'll shove them in there.
Let's just say the Catholic Church has had a couple faux pas over the year that maybe they have to lighten up their restrictions a little bit to kind of enter the church.
So are you saying like maybe like 3 years down the road, like some preacher is going to knock on your door and be like, we reviewed the baptism we disallowed it.
No,
You must go through a course in order for you to be baptized in the waters of heaven.
Yeah. So, we go to the church. We get I find the really cute baptism outfit online for my daughter.
Ooh.
She looks.
Is that what you wore?
What'd you say?
Did you look up father's baptism outfits to make sure you were nice and prissy and cute for the event?
No, not my outfit. To her.
Her
outfit for her. I didn't say Daddy's.
I didn't have to go up for this thing.
I wasn't wearing.
Dress up cute for this.
I wasn't wearing the white dress-like thing to my daughter's
Why
baptism.
not? Why did you double up on the baptism so you go to super heaven?
Next level heaven. I like it. That's where you know all about that.
You just go up to St. Peter and you're like, I have 2 cards. No, like, right this way, sir.
So, I go into church and it's just like, it's phony time now, and it's like, okay, he's like, okay, you guys sit on the altar, your godparents sit here, and the whole time they ask you like questions like, do you accept, Lord and Savior, and you're going to raise your child in the name of Jesus Christ himself? And you have to say like, I do. And they're like, what sacrament would you wish for your daughter, Claire Michelle? And I'm like, you have to be like baptism. And your family's staring at you. I'm just like, in my head, I'm like, I am such a phone. And they're like, now lean over and do the sign of the cross on your daughter's head. I'm like, I couldn't quite remember if it was like up first and then left to right or right to left. I'm just,
you're like crisscross applesauce, bitch.
Yeah, I'm just phoning it in, and just I'm kind of hot and uncomfortable in the suit, and I don't know. It's just like then you got to like they put like a special oil on my daughter's head, a chrism
like
or whatever. What'd you say?
Like olive?
No, not like olive. Some kind of priest oil. I don't know what it is.
Motor oil?
Yeah.
like where are they getting this oil from and all? Are they going to Pep Boys or something like that?
I don't know. It's Jesus oil, man. They throw Jesus oil all over her.
So they come from fossils and also Jesus had special dinosaurs made just for this oil, for this baptism, is what you're telling me.
Well, I don't think Jesus was around during the dinosaur time, Mike.
Nah, he was definitely hanging out with them. And hey, if the Flintstones were there with the dinosaurs, Jesus had to be before that stuff to make them. Okay.
Then how do you explain? So what you were saying is dinosaurs were here 2,000 years ago or so.
Yeah. And they didn't get baptized. So when the comet came, they all went to hell. And we use their oil to baptize their children in it. What is so hard to understand?
Well, that's kind of a bummer. All the dinosaurs are in hell. I was hoping maybe I'd see one if I ever got.
No. Believe me, when I go up to heaven, I'll be like, you made sure there's no dinosaurs up here, right? And they're like, absolutely, Mr. Burlew, as the number one pick, we are going to guarantee there are no dinosaurs up here. There are no Jurassic Parks in heaven, Scott.
As that number one pick, do you get to go into second level heaven or whatever you called it?
I show up from time to time. I got my own section. I got a little VIP heaven going, it's got like bottle service and all that. It's got the special oils that they use for the baptisms. It's a good scene.
Yeah. So they put like oil on her hair. It smells like patchouli oil, like that hippie oil that I remember a guy in one of my bands back in the day used to wear it. And like, I mean, you get in the car with him and you're like, whoa, man, like, woof, you smell like a straight up incense in one of those stores in the mall when we were growing up, like had the Grateful Dead stuff all over. I forget the name of. And like my daughter's head just smells for the rest of the day. And, we're taking pictures and I'm just like, I'm not really that religious, I said. And our neighbor who was the godmother was like, you didn't have to say that loud while the priest was like right next to you. I'm like, but
hey, question. Can I shampoo this out of her hair or does she have to wear this for the rest of her life?
Yeah,
I need to verify this.
What is the wash time on the Jesus oil? Like, does it have to soak in overnight? Like, are we allowed to
now? Is it like shampoo and conditioner where we rinse, but we have to come back and repeat it like a week later with another baptism?
Yeah, like are we reapplying the Jesus oil one more time to get like an extra dose of Christ in her head? You know?
Okay, if it gets in her eye and we watch it out, will it disinfect what we did earlier?
That's what I'm saying. A lot of questions. I don't,
Yeah.
you know. And then there's always that thing in church where you're like, well, what if this is all the real thing to do? And like, what if I am, you know, what if I? So you have to act like a certain way, you know. Like, I just always said like church has gotta do something to grab someone, especially the boring white Catholic churches that I grew up in. Like, same thing every week for every Sunday of your life. Like Jesus, like I see these awesome like black churches and Baptist churches like celebrating and dancing and clapping. Like I can get more into that, or like a good song, or you know, like something with some rhythm. But same thing, you go to church every single. They haven't changed anything.
Yeah. Here's my thought process. And now you want to have a really fun christening, water slide. You do the religious things up at the top, and they're like, "My child, do you believe in Jesus?" And they say yes, and they say prove it, and they push them, and they go down the big old water slide. And if they come up from the lake of heavens, they will be one with God. That's how you do it.
So if they don't come up, they just drown, and that's like the end of it.
That's what happened at Action Park, bro. all those sinners went there, man. They found out very quick, man. They went to hell in a handbasket or in my body bag, if you know what I mean.
I remember, I think I've mentioned this on the cast before. I remember going to church as a kid and like hyper focusing on things like for like God to give me some kind of sign that this was like real. I remember focusing on Jesus on the cross and being like, just give me a sign this is real and I'll believe in you forever. Like, just wink at me. Just give me a thumbs up real quick while no one else is looking. Like, and I'll be like, I'm religious for the rest of my. I used to look at like, I think it was the Stations of the Cross thing around the windows, and I'd be like, just let one of them move or like glow in light. Like nothing ever happened in the church that I was like, wow, that's something I can't reproduce anywhere.
Yeah, they really need to have like some special effects people there. So like all you like mid-level churchers that go there, like something that's like, all right, hit a button and a firework will go off, and they're like, what's that? And then you'd be like, oh, that's a God miracle that I've been looking for. Now I'm going to listen to Exodus 7:3 now. Like,
I don't watch wrestling, but every once in a while I'll see it on like Netflix or like WrestleMania. I'll tune in real quick and see because I kind of like the pomp and circumstance of it. I like how the crazy entrances and the pyro. Like, you're telling me if the priest had his own theme song and like some pyro that came down and he came out of the back and there was smoke everywhere and everyone knew his song and chanted it as he got up to the altar. Like, give me something. Let's evolve with technology. Let's have some LED screens up there. Let's have some fireworks, maybe some better snacks. Enough of the little dry bread thing they give you, maybe like little finger sandwiches, something. The body of Christ can't taste the same for all these years. Like, there's all these great chefs. Let's spice it up a little bit.
Yeah, he was Middle Eastern, man. There had to have been some spices in that body of his. I mean,
why don't I get any hummus with the
Why don't I get some like curry flavors in my cracker when I'm eating it and all? And it's always the boring wine. There's nothing special about the Jesus, but like put a Four Loko in there once in a while.
Yes, let's get weird. Let's make church fun again.
Exactly. On a side note, I think I told this on the podcast. I didn't get baptized till I was like 15.
I don't know if I know this, and if I don't, please tell.
Yeah, the story of what my parents told me when I was younger. There's like they were going to baptize me when I was a baby, but apparently I was a squirmy kid.
Yes,
so they held off.
You were some Satan spawn kid that they're like, I don't know if we could bring him to the church.
Yeah, I don't know if they figured like they tried to wet me and I would zigzag out of the way or something like that. But they literally said, well, you're too squirmish of a kid growing up, so we didn't do it. So it took me to about 15 to go through the whole process.
So you had one of those. Did you have one of those ones where they like put you in a pool like we see like online, like with these older people getting baptized for the first time and they're like getting pushed under the water?
No, there was no fun to it. But I mean, first off, I had to take like 3 or 4 classes
Of course, there it
for
is.
the
Yeah.
Presbyterian Church to allow me to get baptized. Your daughter just shows up and they're like, yeah, whatever. No, I had to take a quiz. And then when they baptized me, they just put a little water, they just sprinkled it on, like,
Yeah.
you know how, like, you have a little on your hand, and instead of grabbing a towel, you just go poof.
Yeah, flick it
your
off a
hands
little
up.
bit. Yeah.
That was my baptism. Like, that's how I get to heaven?
I remember like, having to go to confession a couple times and being like, oh, well, I'm not telling this guy everything I've done. Like I'd give him a couple things and then he'd be like, do like 7 Hail Marys. You go up, you do 1 Our Father, you get into the Hail Mary, like Hail Mary, full grace, Hail Mary, full. That was like 3. I'm good. Like yeah. I'll leave.
I would probably go in there and just like try to brag about stuff where he'd be like, you know what? No Hail Marys for you. You're too awesome. And I'd be like, Father, I just want to tell you, I was on a go-kart and I did a 6 circle. And he'd be like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. This is the stuff I hear about these sinners and all. You tell me badass stories. I'd like this kid and all. This is why he's going to heaven. That
should be one of our losses in the game. The loser has to go do confession as an adult now, and full on confess to anything you can think of, and see what the punishment is.
Father,
and then we could wager on how many prayers you're going to receive. We should do our confessions on the podcast as a rehearsal, right? And be like, oh, Burlow, you're definitely getting 4 Hail Marys and, a couple Our Fathers, and then see what actually happens.
Yeah, I'd probably just go back and watch the Jaden Daniels football game and figure that's a Hail Mary that they're talking about. I don't even know what I'm supposed to do in a Hail Mary, to be honest with you.
I think you just say the prayer and pretend you're seriously looking at the statue of Mary, and then I don't know.
Now, do I have to wear a nice baptism outfit like you should have done?
I mean, you absolutely should. We could have the Buckethead outfit. You can go to confession in the Lord Buckethead outfit.
I feel like you can't just be in regular clothes for a Hail Mary for it to count. Like if I'm apparently like talking to the person above and I'm guessing I'm going through his lawyer first and he's like whispering into God's ear, stuff like that. I don't want to listen, this dude's in the verbal shenanigans t-shirt. I wouldn't accept any of these Hail Marys.
I think you're putting too much emphasis on the Hail Mary. You're thinking of it as a big football play where it's a giant throw. The Hail Mary is like a 30-second prayer that they
I get to go in front of like 60,000 people and they start going bananas when I do my Hail Marys, right?
Yeah, like I think you're overblowing it. The Hail Mary is just some like 30-second prayer. You say it, and that's kind of the end of it. There's no big, but that would be pretty cool if you had to like. What about if instead of confessing to the priest and doing Hail Marys by yourself, you have to say it in front of like your punishment is saying 7 Hail Marys to a 60,000 person crowd.
Yeah,
remember we talked about the national anthem, singing that and probably fumbling the words up. Dude, do a couple Hail Marys in front of a bunch of like Alabama fans,
Exactly, in front of 100,000 people. And it's like, I was supposed to sing the national anthem, but I touched myself. So here we are.
Yeah. Oh my God, we should definitely do the verbal shenanigans confession. I'll hear yours. You'll hear mine. Put that down on the book.
Another body. I don't know how this happens.
Put that down on the books. You guys might hear that in the next couple weeks here. But let's segue to our guest. Again, if you're tuning into the show for the first time, our segues are almost never good. They're almost never related to the guest that's coming on. Every once in a while, it's like, ooh, a little tie-in. But 9 out of 10 times, it's like we talk nonsense, and then we're like, here's someone really cool. And that's what we're going to do tonight. So coming on the show tonight, she has been the front woman, I guess you should say, of the band Save Ferris for a very long time. Save Ferris was a nice smile for me booking this episode because like a lot of kids my age, we went through a little ska phase in like middle school, high school, and ska had that little revival with like the Boss Tones and Real Big Fish and Save Ferris and a whole bunch of them, Skanking Pickle and the Toaster, all these bands. So ska had its little place. Goldfinger, they had some ska-like songs. And Save Ferris had a cover of like "Come On Eileen" that was really big. I remember seeing them at the Warped Tour a million years ago. So really cool to see them keep going. So her name is Monique Powell. If you know Save Ferris, she is the imagery of Save Ferris. She has the big, bright orange, red hair. She is kind of upfront, energetic, and whatnot. So without further ado, here is our interview with Monique Powell of Save Ferris. Monique, how are you?
Hi, how you guys doing?
We're
doing great.
all right.
That's Mike. I'm Scott. Thanks for giving us a few minutes and rescheduling with us.
Yeah, totally. Thank you for letting me reschedule.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you know, we have so much to do that, you know, it's amazing that we are able to find time to interview.
Well, we did the regularly scheduled time. My wife does know trombone, and you guys were through Georgia. We could have met up. Yeah, I'm just throwing it out there.
I would have been totally okay with that.
You give the interview a little time before you
get to know me. You might change your mind.
Yeah. Monique, my first question is, I, 20 years ago, 25 years or whatever it is, I was a young man into ska and happiness and listening to Save Ferris, and now I've become a decrepit older man, and ska brings me back. How have you maintained this positive, happy vibe? You look almost identical to you did back then. Like, how do you maintain staying in this happy form of music for so long?
Well, within the last maybe 10 years or so, I kind of decided that this was about the people that love this band.
Sure.
It was a restructuring of my values, because for many years it was like, I want to be in a cool band like Radiohead. Why can't I be in a cool band?
You had your synthesizers out.
It's like, yeah, Save Ferris is fucking dope. Like, Ferris is enough. And I see that in the eyes and the hearts and the faces of our fans. Every show we play, and like they believe in us.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
And I feel like
it's time for me to believe in.
I feel like it's smart to stay the course, because as we've learned, like over the years, bands never go away. They all seem to have a rebirth if they just stick with it. Like either a genre comes back, or a song they used to make becomes popular 20 years later, and like you find a whole new audience. And I feel like you're seeing that with so many bands.
It's really interesting because there's such a broad demographic to our audience. There's so many. Like every night I say, who's been to a Save Ferris show before? And like maybe 25% of the people have seen us before. 75% of the people there are new fans. So there's not only the nostalgia aspects of why people come to the shows, but there's also the, scene. They love the scene. They may have heard the song online and they love the song or the songs, and they're new fans. And so the demographic is like we play a Dead Kennedys cover. Can I curse on this?
Oh, yeah.
Go for it.
Okay. So we play a cover Too Drunk to Fuck.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really good. It's so fucking good. And, but like more often than not, I will have to shoot an audible to the rest of the band and be like, we cannot play that tonight. There are so many young kids in the front row. I just cannot do it. I can't. Like,
yeah.
Could you replace it with fudge?
So, yeah, just not the same. I don't know if Jello would like that or not.
No.
I don't know. Jello's already rolling over in his grave because a ska band is covering Too Drunk to Fuck. And he's not even dead yet. You know?
Yeah.
He's just at the funeral home trying out caskets, just swirling around thinking about that right there.
You know what I'm saying? So,
And give me an idea of like where you were when this band started to come together. Like from what I read up, like a lot of you just came from like different bands and came together. Were you in like a mindset of, man, I'm one step away from being something? Are you still figuring out yourself and your sound? Where are you at when the band started to formate?
no, I knew because I had been going to ska and punk shows for some years already. And then I was like in a couple other bands, and I was in an all-girl ska band, but it was like a really traditional band, which I enjoyed, but I really loved the sound that was coming out of the town I was growing up in Orange County in Southern California. So I wanted to be in a band with that sound, which was like ska and punk sort of mushed into each other, because I loved going to the shows, you know?
How hard is it for a ska band to keep a horn section, like the same crew of guys? Like if you look at like past members of ska bands, it's sometimes halfway down the Wikipedia page. Like how hard is it to just get your horn section together, even for a couple years?
There's a reason. Like I love our horn players. But there's a reason why the word whore is in horn.
Yeah.
They will just whore themselves out to anybody who pays them. Fortunately, we have some, and you know what? Do I blame them? I don't think so. I don't think I blame them. You got to pay the rent. You know, you got to do what you got to do. But fortunately, we have some great horn players, and I pray for longevity. I always do. I never get it, but I always do. Yeah, and like our Wikipedia page is such bullshit because it says like all these past members of Save Ferris. Well, none of those people were members of the band.
Right.
They just played with the band for like a minute.
Sure.
You know? So I've been fighting with Wikipedia for like 20 years about that. Like, what, you know, I'm the only member. I own the name.
Right.
Like, take it down.
Yeah.
You can say past players, but don't say members,
Sure.
you know?
Well, I mean, they're whores, so they're just showing off their members to everybody. You know? Yeah. Hey, baby, you want to see my French horn? Yeah.
It's weird when you say it though, Mike, and you don't play the horn. It's kind of a strange spot.
I mean, I've been working on myself. I've been married for a while, Scott. My game has been off, okay? Now, as I've been listening to interviews, I know you have pointed out a lot when like a lot of people point to like your original like big release album. You keep telling everybody your favorite is still the original EP introducing Save Ferris and all. Can you kind of explain what was it about that original one? Because a lot of people say, oh, we got our voice 4 albums down the road or something like that. But I keep hearing you love that original EP. Why is it so to your heart?
It really, I love just the sound of the recording. It was recorded to tape, and it really, in my opinion, really captured who we were at the time, our spirit and the newness of everything in our youth. And I love that. I love that it sounds kind of raw, and yeah, it makes me really happy, that album.
Give us a little insight. Okay, you've been doing this, 3 decades now or whatever it is. What touring was like for Monique, like 25 years ago, where you're just jumping in vans or whatever, and what it is like now. How has it changed over the years as far as getting yourself prepped for, like, you guys are in the middle of a pretty big run at the moment. Like, what is the difference as you look back then and then look at yourself now?
Well, I remember in my previous touring in the 90s, when I was in my early 20s, late teens, we did have a lot of fun. We did. But I didn't have the support that I needed to be able to maintain a healthy mental state. And it kind of messed me up, which is why I had to take some years off. I was really sort of destroyed from the environment. The environment was really unhealthy. And there were other factors as well, but now, that I'm like this kind of the sole owner of the band and the name, it's a lot more responsibility, but I get to set the rules, and I get to make sure that I'm insulated to a certain degree by people who all love and support each other, and so I feel very lucky for that now. But it took me a long time to understand how important that was.
I don't care. Like, when you start getting it big, like, you go from playing at like bowling alley music stages to like big stadiums and all. Was it just natural for you? You seem like very laid back, but I'm just kind of curious if, as the crowds get bigger, is it just a natural, ooh, this is a fun party, or are you kind of like, whoa, this is crazy?
Yeah, I think I played it all,
Yeah.
and it's always like a fun party. It's always going to be like a fun party. Yeah. I just, I love club shows. I love the tour we're on right now. Like going into these towns we haven't been to in a really long time, and playing for some shows or smaller audiences, because some of these towns we've never been to before, and we're just hitting them for the first time. But I do love the club show because we get to have this like really personal experience with each other. It's really cool. I like it. I mean, I love festivals too. There's something great about all of it, but I'm a real fan of the club show.
So tell us, you got the new song came out. I'm curious if that's leading us to a new album, but tell us about what it was like getting back in the studio here, and releasing this thing. Is this following? Are we expecting an album coming out? What's going on?
For sure, an album's coming out.
Okay.
But I'm just releasing the singles in anticipation of a full length. And I'm releasing all the songs on 7-inch, like just limited supply of 7 inches. Mm-hmm. Yeah, with like great artwork and done by just amazing artists. And it's mostly for record collectors because I love vinyl myself. So that was important to me. Being in the studio with Michael Bradford and writing songs with him and recording songs with him is just like a complete treat. He's a magical, beautiful human being, and I feel so lucky to know him.
You guys performed at the 2002 Winter Olympics. Out of curiosity, who was in charge of keeping the mouthpieces on the horns warm to ensure that the horn players didn't get stuck playing out there?
Seems like a job you would like, Mike.
I'm important.
Didn't you say your wife plays trombone?
Yes, she does.
Who keeps her mouthpiece warm?
Oh, well.
Mike, hours per day he's keeping that thing warm. No, just in case.
Yeah. I go to wife, hey, baby, you want to see my French horn? She's like, you already said that. Okay.
He just like perches on it like a chicken on it.
Just all day. Just
I'll be at work. Honey, what's the temperature like? Is it good? You want me to come home?
Yeah, like it's going to hatch.
What was that Winter Olympic experience like?
Weird, because it was like on network television and everything, and I've never played anything quite like that. I'd never been to the Olympics before.
Yeah.
And so, I'd only ever seen it on TV, but it's massive. There's a whole city just for the Olympics.
Yep.
And yeah, it was really cool. So many people. I was really cold, but it was great because I got to wear like a cute coat while we played, and I like that idea. I wish I could do that all the time.
So you are if anybody's seen the band or seen videos of the band, you are a ball of energy. I'm curious, the presence you bring. I'm curious how many people are shocked when they realize that your hair isn't orange. And do you have like backup wigs just in case? And two, what process, like, what are you doing to keep yourself kind of, active, healthy, and, as you get older, being able to front this band the way you do?
Well, the proper vernacular for the hair color would be red.
Whatever. People tell me I'm orange all the time too. Yeah. So red, yes.
You're ginger. You're
Thanks.
Ginger, and it's beautiful, and we love you.
That's debatable, but continue.
Yes. And yeah, I do wear wigs on stage because I don't, I would dye my hair for years and years.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of work when you're on the road. It's a lot of work. And I just like myself better as a brunette in my daily life.
Sure.
But I do love my wigs. So here's Cassie. There she is. Wait, let's show you the front. And we're setting her for tonight. We just washed her and conditioned her.
Nice.
And the guys know the names of all the wigs. So it's not, Monique, can I help you? Can I help you with your wig? It's like, can I help you with Sassy?
Do you choose based on how you're feeling earlier in the day? Like, are you like, okay, tonight's a sassy night. Tonight, like, are you choosing during the day which one's coming out?
Not yet. But I would definitely like to have a wig collection that vast and ready to go. But
we all have dreams. You can accomplish this. I really feel like you can nail this.
One day. I know, like, when we did Warped in 2017 and we had the bus, that I did have a number of wigs, and I would sort of shuffle through them. But they all look the same,
Obviously, you got a huge bump and a big hit when you do the cover of Come On Eileen. And when some bands do covers, they cherish it for years and years. Some bands, after a few years, when people are like screaming for you to do it on your first song, it drives them nuts. Where do you stand right now on a song? Is it just as beloved as when you first created it, or does it lose its mojo after time?
That's funny that you asked that. There's two songs that our audiences love, but I hate playing. But I love that they love them, and so we play them. And I just feel like one of them, I've aged out. Actually, both, I feel like I've aged out of playing one of them, and then the other one I'm sort of like, but this song doesn't make any sense, and I don't know if it's aged well over the last 30 years, So, but, they love them, so we play them.
I did have a question. Have you ever talked to the Dexys Midnight Riders at all? Have they ever reached out to you, or did you ever have any contact about your cover of their song?
No. I'd love to talk to Kevin Rowland one day about it, but I'm actually kind of afraid because maybe he doesn't like it.
Yeah, we had Gary Jules on about a year ago, and he did the cover of
Mad World.
Mad World, and it was really interesting to hear him talk about how the band contacted him. They were like, that's actually how we should have wrote the song, and like that's kind of the feeling I wanted it to have, and they actually love the song. So it's pretty interesting.
That's very cool, because that cover is beautiful.
It is a very cool song.
Yeah.
When you guys split up in 2002, was it like an official, okay, we're on a break, we're done? Was it, we'll see in 10 years because I got other projects? What was that like final step there before reuniting?
No, actually, some of the guys left, and then I continued with the name for a little bit, and then just decided I was going to stop. playing, so it just sort of, I let it just fizzle out. But I had, I had to take care of my mental health.
So what was the driving force to coming back? Was it just did eventually you miss the live performances? Did you miss the playing those songs? Did you miss the the money from it? Like what really pushed you to get this thing going again?
Money? What's that?
We don't know.
We start every episode asking that.
Yeah.
No, actually, it was a promise I made to my dad when I got this health diagnosis. It was, my neck was just in a really bad state. I had to have it completely rebuilt. In 2013.
Hello,
hey guys. I'm sorry. I'm in a hotel with shoddy Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Oh, that's okay. It's been fun to watch you though. It's kind of looked like you've been like, yeah. We get some real interesting faces, but
I'm really sorry.
No, it's not your fault.
So we were talking about, okay.
Your neck was when you dropped out.
Yes. So my neck. So the surgery on my neck was really severe. And typically they would go through the front of your neck to do a surgery like this. And then if they did that, they would have to move the esophagus aside and the voice box and everything to get to the bone.
Wow.
That were pressing, literally impaling my spinal cord. And so I had a few doctors say to me, do you want to walk or do you want to sing? Basically, what's important to you?
Jeez.
What's more important? And that was really rough. But I finally found a doctor that was willing to go through the back of my neck. And it was a team of doctors at Cedars. And
was this all attributed to just rocking for so long, headbang, or was this related to a different kind of injury? Or
they think that I sort of inherited this sort of degenerative condition that my mom had.
Mm-hmm.
And that maybe there was something that had happened at some point. And they said that it had been going on for a really long time, that my neck had been broken at a young age somehow, something like that, and so yeah, we couldn't really figure out how it happened. We just knew that I didn't have insurance for years, like so many musicians.
Mm-hmm.
And so it wasn't something I could take care of. I would just live in constant chronic pain, which also contributed to the sort of, mental hardship that I was going through because I was in constant pain. So right before I went under for this surgery, I kind of made a promise to my dad. I was like, if I wake up and I can sing and I can dance still and all those things, I can still walk, then I'll bring the band back. Because he really wanted me to do that for 10 years. So,
that's awesome.
And when I woke up and they had me stand, I was like, this is excruciating. And oh no, what did I get myself in?
As big of a ska fan as you are, if you made a Mount Rushmore of ska bands, who's on it?
Good question.
Who's on the Mount Rushmore of ska bands? Terry Hall, Pauline Black from Selector, probably a first generation ska person. Definitely those two. And then a first generation ska person. I don't know. I don't know who I would choose of those guys yet.
Toots and the Maytals, maybe, or
maybe Dan P or Tosh, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot to choose from. Do you, as you're out there touring now and you're doing these, whether it's offshoot nights and you're doing festivals that have a lot of ska, are you seeing that next wave of ska band starting to arrive? Young kids getting back into ska again? We're seeing the fourth or fifth wave.
I see it.
You don't see it yet?
Right?
No.
I always see it.
Nice.
I always see it. There's always, it's a subculture.
It is.
That I'm in. And so therefore it never dies. because it's a lifestyle, you know?
Just gets a lot harder to skank as you get this age. You know, it's a lot, a lot harder to move like that. But Monique, I want to.
Me.
I know you got to do it every night. Monique, if people want to check out, you want to check out the new single, when can they anticipate maybe the album coming out? And tell us a little bit about the tour you guys are currently on.
So we're on the Get Dancing tour right now, supporting the single for Get Dancing, which is currently available on all streaming.
Yep.
And it's a great song. And you're going to be able to, the 7-inch is available for pre-sale now on SaveFerris.com. And the next single is coming out probably June 10th.
Okay.
And it's called Rudy Rudy. And that's the opposite side of the 7-inch with Get Dancing on it. And yeah, go to YouTube and watch the video for Get Dancing. It's cool. And
yeah, it is pretty cool.
I'm thinking, and I'm thinking full length, maybe mid to late summer.
Oh, nice. Okay, so it's right around the corner then.
Final question for me. If I went up to the ticket counter for a Save Ferris concert and I informed them that I'm Abe Froman, the Sausage King of Chicago, what kind of benefits can I expect to get when I get into the concert?
Follow-up question. Do you have a duffel bag full of sausage for the band?
I can provide one if one is requested.
I'm assuming that you want to come to a Save Ferris show. You want to get in for free. You're Abe Froman, the Sausage King.
Yeah, well, we can negotiate these things.
I'm sorry, you can't come sausage-less.
Okay.
You
So what you're saying is
sausage in your pocket. You best come bearing sausage.
all right. So if I bring quality sausages and I convince the security guard I'm Abe Froman, I'm going to be set. But if I just convince them I'm Abe Froman and I come scot-free, I got issues. Okay. This is a fair trade-off right here.
It helps to have some sausage in hand.
Okay.
Yes, I'm fully behind this idea, Mike. I think you should show up to a show with your pockets loaded full of sausage and see what happens. Yeah.
Listen, I'm in Georgia.
Or
We got some decent barbecue down here. I can prepare myself with sausage and be there at a concert. Okay, let's not question me on that.
Wear one of those. Wear those like strung together sausages as a necklace.
Yes.
And you'll look like a king.
Yeah.
And then everybody will know who you are.
I say try it, Mike. More in hopes that you get beat down by security and have to explain that on the podcast the next week. But,
Scott, I keep screaming, "Don't you know who I am?" And they just keep beating me up.
That's funny.
Monique, thanks so much for the time. It's really cool to see you still doing this after all these years, and you seem invigorated doing it again. And it's cool to see new music coming from Save Ferris. A band I was dancing to in high school at the Warped Tour. So it's really cool to see it still going and you reaching new audience. So good luck with the album coming up. Good luck with the rest of the tour, and we appreciate the time you were able to give us.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys.
Monique Powell of Save Ferris. Mike, what steps did you take along the way to become the Sausage King?
Well, I initially was a hot dog prince, and I just kind of stayed in the kingdom.
But that had nothing to do with food, right?
No. In fact, they told me to leave many times. They're like, "We have no idea what you're doing here, and we don't know what a hot dog prince is."
This is the football locker room in the high school. Please get out.
Yeah. There are kids here. Please leave immediately. And
there's no room for a hot dog prince here.
And then they're like, "Fine, we'll call you Sausage King. Get the hell out of here."
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
So not much prep. You just kind of earn the title.
Yeah. I mean, I earned that one, or do we want to bring it to Harry and Dom and get a vote going?
No,
see if I'm the sausage king.
I did think about putting you through the sausage gauntlet today, and that was going to be the name of the show. You were going to be doing things like making the sounds of sausage sizzling on different surfaces. There were sausage questions, but I don't know. I feel like I gave the audience a high level of stupidity last week, so I had to bring it back down to earth here.
Oh, that's all right. Can I push it back the stupidity, if you will, Scott?
Sure, Mike. Yeah, so Monique Powell, go check out their new song, Save Ferris. Really cool to see them going. All right, Mike, what are you doing to us today?
Well, Scott, I came up with a little game here where I'm going to offer you a series of rewards.
Ooh.
However, they will come with conditions.
I like
So I will lay out something that you always wanted.
Ooh.
Then I'm going to say, but, and inform you what you would have to do in order to have it.
Ooh.
And you will tell us if you're willing to accept these living conditions or you will pass. Does that sound like fun?
Gotcha. It's like a reward inconvenience draft at the same time. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the way I figure it and you're going to do stuff and there's going to be butts in it. So the name of this game is Scott Does Butt Stuff, ?
So subscribe to our newsletter where the name of this episode will be like Monique Powell of Save Ferris,
Baptism stories,
the hot dog prince, and Scott Does Butt Stuff.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
All right.
We're back, baby. Here we go.
Yeah. All right, Scott, are you ready for the first one?
Mm-hmm.
All right. You get to go to a sporting event of your dreams with your team playing for the title.
Ooh.
So maybe it's the Giants in the Super Bowl. Maybe it's Liverpool in the UEFA Championships. The Mets.
I was just thinking about that in my head as you were saying this. I think it would be just for time spent and no success. I think my choice would be the Mets World Series, able to clinch the World Series.
Gotcha. And you're going to get prime seats, and your family and friends are going to be right there with you.
Oh, yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah.
But in the last quarter of a crucial game, whatever a fraction of 1/4 of the game is, 3/4 of it's done. You have to go out there and finish the game in a crucial position. So you have to go out there to the finish. Maybe you're a leadoff batter. Maybe you're goalie in soccer. Maybe you have to kick the field goal to win the game. But you have to use your current skills. You cannot hide on the field. And everyone in the world will know it is you out there with the results that are coming. Scott, do you take this fantasy?
Yes. Here's my thinking. Okay. I'm at the Mets game. I'm going with the Mets game on this one. Okay. I'm going with the Mets. We are a franchise who, how many more jokes could there really be about? Like everything has happened to the Mets,
Pretty much.
The old New York Jersey thing is Mets, Jets, and Nets are cursed, lots of things happen, bad signings, bad free agents, stories that would never be part of normal teams. I view this almost as a win-win situation. Okay. If I go out there and they stick me at first base. Why not? That's where I used to play as a kid. So they're like, come on in, first base. Let's say we're facing the American League. We're facing the Yankees would be a tough sell, but we're facing the Mariners, a promising team, up and coming team. We're facing the Astros or something, and they rip one. Altuve rips one to the third baseman, and he launches one over to me, and I cough it up. I completely miss it. The Astros win. Okay, now my interview opportunities are pretty much endless after that. In any sports media outlet. They're going to want to talk to the guy who got picked to just come into the game in the closing moments, who blew it for the Mets, and they go another 30 years without winning a championship. I am Bill Buckner. I can make a living off of being Bill Buckner if I want. Okay. I am Bartman. I am I don't know, someone else who ruined somebody. Yeah, Steve
Scott Norwood.
Yeah, exactly. I can make a living doing this. Hey, you want me to come on the podcast? Sure. Promote mine and pay me this much. I'll tell you all about it, how it happened. I become enemy number one of the Mets, and that lasts a good decade. I'm enemy number one. But there's this thing that happens in the public eye where enemy number one starts to become like a cult, like part of the franchise. They become like, I think Steve Bartman now, I think he could probably go to a Cubs game and maybe be like almost get cheered. I do believe that this does happen where it becomes like, oh my God, like we hated him forever. So it's a story. It's a rebound story that I think I could find a way out of. And then if I win, if I play the first base, I get the last out. Holy crap. I led my team to the championship. I'm taking this and running with it.
That's a good answer. And I like the way you turned it. And as you describe it, it reminds me of Mitch Williams, how he gave up that World Series ending home run against Toronto. And ironically, he's more beloved than ever in Philadelphia right now.
Exactly. Like America does this thing where there are redemption stories where that we like a good comeback. Like when Diddy gets out and he releases his first single, we're all going to be jamming to it,
Yeah, and I'll be up there in my cosplay with the Punisher. It's going to be amazing, man.
Yeah. So I'm taking this one.
All right. So right off the bat, Scott says yes to butt stuff. Okay.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yep.
All right. Are you ready for your second one, Scott?
I'm ready. I'm the juices are flowing now. I feel like I'm out of the fog I was in at the beginning.
All right. You will get your dream car for free with any accessories and add-ons. Okay. You will get to drive your fantasy car every day for at least 2 hours. But instead of talking on your phone or listening on the radio, you're going to be listening to 70-year-olds calling into customer support lines the entire time. Every stupid thing that old people don't understand, every question about the internet, everything that would drive you nuts, you're going to have to listen to, and you can't assist. You only are there to listen in the endless confusion and frustration. Okay. Scott, do you do this butt stuff?
So like if I take my car to drive to vacation, we're just listening to customer service calls all the way up.
You're talking to your father who's like, I don't have that app on my phone. What's an app?
How do I make it bigger? I can't hear it. Yeah, well, that kind of stuff. Good question. But I have a clear answer on this one, and that answer is no for me. Okay. Now, reason being, big car guy. Okay. I'm not I got friends who are all about their, they've always wanted this car. They go out and get it. I've never been like, I need this car. I need this. In fact, I am driving the car that I would probably pick. I've always enjoyed Jeeps. I had an old 95 Wrangler. They came out with this Gladiator, which was essentially just a Jeep with a pickup bed. I had pickups my whole life. Now I have this thing. It's nothing fancy. There's no bells and whistles on it. But I'm not into the sports cars. I'm not into the, luxury vehicles. And my car time is my time. Like I am always listening to my podcasts. I am listening to albums. I am not my podcasts I enjoy. I'm not listening to us.
I've never heard a thing from this show.
So that's why I'm going to go with no.
Okay.
Of time. Not enough payoff.
Yeah, not enough payoff for this butt stuff. Gotcha. No, you're holding off on this. All right.
Yeah, one butt stuff, one non-butt stuff.
Yeah, all right. Number 3.
Yeah.
You get your dream house. Fully finished, all the amenities you can ask for, the perfect backyard, whatever you want in the house is yours.
Now we're talking. Okay.
But the only way you can move around and about in your house is Tarzan style. Vines and ropes all over your household You want to go to the bathroom? You got to swing to your destination. You want to go upstairs? You got to climb a rope. They can retract, so when anybody's coming over, it's not just a bunch of hanging vines or whatever. But if you're on the couch and they say, I can go for a glass of water, a vine comes down and you got to swing over and take care of all your stuff. Scott, are you into this butt stuff?
Okay. Very good question here. I feel like if you present a house to anyone of their dream house, to me, that is almost best prize ever. You know, like house that you want, you know, you work your whole life to have a nice place to live. You work your whole life to upgrade your house, do the things you want to do to it. And sometimes you're limited by what you can afford, obviously. Mm-hmm. So dangling that carrot is a good one. Okay. Now, you said I had a Tarzan swing everywhere. I'm kind of into this. I think this could be kind of fun. Like the only thing I was thinking though, like my dog likes to pee a million times in the middle of the night while I'm sleeping. And I'm like,
come on, Vine.
Yeah. But there's a double benefit here because I'm going to get ripped swinging around all day, dude. I'm gonna have a back like a god. Like my upper body is gonna look chiseled. I'm burning calories. I'm building muscle. One of my weaknesses, always in the gym since I was a little, in high school, was always like being able to rep out a whole bunch of pull-ups. Mm-hmm. If I'm Tarzan swinging everywhere, I'm going to be able to accomplish this and more. I'm doing the butt stuff here. No, not even a question.
You're getting rewarded for this butt stuff. I hear you.
Yes. You know how shredded I would be? Like, you'd be like, dude, what are you doing? I'd be like, I swing from room to room.
Let's just go around the house. That's all I do.
Like Tarzan had that, primate strength. That's what I'm looking at.
Beautiful.
I got the house. I got swing. People are going to come over to try my Tarzan setup.
Absolutely. Okay. Mm-hmm. Number 4, Scott.
Mm-hmm.
You will get any food you want prepared to you. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, whatever you request, you are going to get food prepared by the greatest chefs in the world as much as you want for an entire month.
1 month. Okay.
But you'll be picking a number from 1 to 200. After you make your meal requests, a random number is going to be selected in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
If that number matches your number, your meal will be prepared in a random fat, oily dude's bathwater. So soups or boiling chicken, something like that. You want a nice steak, they're going to rub it up. Now, it's a 1 in 200 shot every time. Now, every time they're going to eliminate a number. So You got to figure in a month, that's about 100 meals. So you got a all right chance that you're not going to have oily man water preparing your food.
Another name for the episode, oily man water.
Yeah. You will not know if that number matches until you are done with your meal, by the way. Scott, are you into this butt stuff?
Okay. I mean, once you presented oily man back, you also told me I only get the food for a month. Like, I'm going to need a couple of years here to do oily man back.
What, you're going to keep the number at 1 to 200?
Something.
See, that's why I said a month, because I'm like, okay, month is 30 days. You figure that's 90 meals. You probably want about 10 snacks in there. So that's 100 meals in a 1 to 200 chance that you get oily man bathwater.
I don't know, man. I don't have the best luck when it comes to gambling and things like that. I've tried to do the sports betting before.
What do you mean it came up on 3 every single time?
And this is why I play like fantasy and stuff like that. And I enjoy it more. I'm not a big bettor anymore. I never was, but I would throw like 10, 15, 20 bucks on a game here and there.
But there's no money involved. It's just a fat, oily dude.
I'm talking about betting here. If I'm betting and I'm like, oh, it's plus 10,000 to not have food from the oily back, and it's minus 3 million. I'm gonna hit that minus 3 million guaranteed.
You're
First
gonna be
meal of the
like
month.
watching ESPN and they got them bet analysis people like, I really like the odds on Scott's next meal not to be in the oily bathwater.
Yeah. And that's just like I'm a decent enough cook. I think I'm a pretty decent cook. I can get through the month. The thought of cooking my chicken in an oily back, you don't recover from that. You don't come back from that well.
But there's got to be a thrill, like you're 35 meals in, they're like, it wasn't that. Like,
no,
woo!
I'm not playing oily back roulette, man. I'm not. I'm not doing it. I'm going no to this butt stuff.
All right, that butt stuff is disgusting and all. I got you. No, I'm gonna rip it all right. You're toying with the butt stuff, but you're not all in. You're 2 for 2. So we got the tiebreaker coming up here. Scott.
Okay.
Are you ready?
All right. So is this the last one?
This is the last one of the butt stuff. And what, you want more butt stuff?
No. Well, I liked 2 of the butt stuffs, but I didn't like the other. It was like
all right.
doing it or receiving it.
Gotcha. All right, Scott, your final butt stuff that you can choose or not.
Yes.
You get to go on a beautiful vacation. Maybe you go on a cruise, maybe a cabin overlooking the mountains. Whatever your dreams comes up with, you get to spend a week doing a dream trip, all expenses taken care of.
I do like this. Okay.
But at any time, whatever you're doing, you'll be called to serve as a naked butler for 24 hours. Just a random couple gets to go out to you. Let me finish.
Please finish because I'm very confused right now.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Just rambling in a week's time. They'll come to you and say, begin naked butlering, and you'll have to bring a food, turn on the TV, vacuum the floors, maybe clean grout or do yard work, all while you're in your birthday suit for a random household. Now you're going to get whatever you want out of the rest of the vacation, complete whatever you want to for food and activities or relaxation. But for that 24-hour period, wherever they pick it, you're a naked servant to them.
Okay, so I'm only going for a week, right? Okay.
I mean, if it'll entice you, I'll make it 2 weeks.
Okay. So one day I got things planned, right? I got an excursion. I'm with my kids, the family's there, whatever. Maybe I do a trip I've always wanted to go back to Ireland again,
Yeah.
So I only got 2 days there. I'd like to go back for a couple weeks or whatever. So we got plans to go see the Cliffs of Moher, maybe go out to Dublin, go to the Guinness factory again. And I'm packing up the family. Someone just comes and requests, like, hey, your naked services are required for 24 hours.
Yeah. They just tap you on their shoulder and it's like, it begins. And you just got to go with them and disrobe and do all the activities for 1 full day. But then you had the rest of the time, family and all that.
Question.
Yes.
Am I allowed to tell my wife, like, this is going to be part of the reality? One day during this vacation, I am going to have to go do naked butlering. Are you into this? You
can specify that for a 24-hour period that you'll be requested to leave, and you just got to leave on a dime. But you can't specify where, like, your wife can sway the decision.
Okay. This is a tough one. This is probably the toughest one because I could use a damn vacation. It's been a little rough around the Brennan house lately. And this show isn't paying for everything. I'll just tell you that.
And since you don't have the Tarzan vines, you're on vacation. You're not at home.
Right.
You need that workout, and like scrubbing grout, but naked, it's going to make you scrub harder to get it done faster.
And let's face it, if I got the Tarzan swings, I'm going to want to go on vacation and kind of pop my shirt off every once in a while.
That is true. Yeah. But we're going to say in this scenario, you're current Scott Brennan. You didn't get to the Tarzan house yet.
You know what? It's not even the naked part. It's going to have to go work for a lot of people, for mysterious people for 24 hours. That's bugging me. At this point, I might as well get naked and kind of gross them out, and maybe they'll let me out early. Maybe they'll be like, all right, it's been 18 hours. We're good. We're good.
Did your body touch our food that we asked you to get?
That's another thing. I'm in their kitchen barefoot, dong hanging out. Like, this is not a good idea on their part, unless it's like a kink for them. I'm going to take the vacation.
Oh,
you know what? All expenses paid. I got 2 kids now. That it's becoming very expensive to go on vacation. If I could tell my wife one day I'm just not going to be here, but it's going to pay for the whole vacation. I'm naked cleaning. I'll brush up on my cleaning skills. I'll do it. I'll come back to them with a wad of cash in my hand and be like, let's get on the bus and go to the sightseeing trip. I'm into the butt stuff here. Let's do it.
Oh, that's beautiful, Scott. I am so glad to see after this quiz of ours that you're kind of into butt stuff and you're kind of enjoying it. Like at times you're like, no, maybe not again. But every time you said no, you came back with a yes. So that's very interesting. A little side note, if you're wondering how I came up with Naked Butler, you remember the story of the coworker who asked if we could swap partners at one time and all. Apparently, he would have games of poker over his house with like another couple, which would be strip poker. Nice. And the first person to lose would become the naked butler for the night, where it's just like if somebody went on the first hand all in and they're out, they're just butt naked and they just ring a bell and like naked butler or cocktails.
The fact that you didn't do this makes me so mad. The stories we'd have for this show would be phenomenal. We could get them on. We could have a punishment where you have to do it again.
Yeah. You know? Now, to be fair, I was offered swinging. I was never offered the naked butler poker game
or the vacation.
No, that wasn't part of the deal. Just banging his wife was part of the
deal. well, we had a decent conversation today. Then we had a great guest, and then we plummeted the show one more time.
We did it again
into butt stuff. What was it? Scott? Does Scott like butt stuff? Was that the name of the game?
The name of the game was Scott Brennan Does Butt Stuff? Question mark.
Gotcha. So we are back into our full normal garbage here. So and I think that's it, Mike. I think we've come to the end here. I want to thank Monique Powell of Save Ferris for coming on the show. Go check their stuff out. Been around for a long time, so it's fun to see them still doing it. Mike, is there anything to promote before we get on out of here?
I'm going to promote Dream City Brewing in downtown Carrollton, Georgia. They just opened up their tea and coffee service, making delicious hot and cold brews. And later this summer, they'll be opening up their brewery to go along with it. I'm sure to be checking out some of their brews. They are open Tuesday through Friday. I was just out there. They have a beautiful covered patio to sit and relax or do work. Looking forward to it. Dream City Brewing.
Awesome. And I will promote, we did a little something, I don't know, different, I guess, this week. We compiled, after the Blind Melon episode, I was kind of going through some of our musical guests and said, you know what, like it'd be kind of cool to have a playlist on Spotify where people could, use it as a promo tool, but also see the guests that we've had on, something easy to send to people. So I did make a playlist along with some of Mike's research, going back 500 episodes. There's a lot of musical guests, over 120 something. And I put a song that I think represents or is my favorite song for some of them from these guests. And it's pretty cool. If you go to the Music of Verbal Shenanigans is the name of the playlist. There is everything from guests we've had on: Creedence Clearwater, Blind Melon, Coheed and Cambria, Thrice, George Thorogood, Twisted Sister, William Hung. I mean, you name it. Even
Gary Kimmel.
Yeah. Even both Dukes of Hazzard are in there. John Snyder and Tom Wopat, because we did have them on, and they do make music. So I don't know if you're into music, go check it out. Give us a little like follow on it or like, and you can put it in your Spotify. I don't know, something cool. And subscribe to the newsletter. That will be in there for now on. So other than that, guys, we got a lot of fun stuff coming up. Life is funny. Laugh at it. Keep the wind at your back.
From the throne of the Sausage King, I thank you for coming to my kingdom.